Well, damning evidence of neglect in aged care across the nation has been uncovered. A News Corp investigation revealing 155 care homes have failed federal inspections on standards. It hammers home the dire realities faced by our most vulnerable, many feeling forgotten during the pandemic as the rest of the country moves on.
It's not a great report, Karl. Now, last week we brought you the story of Graham Smith, an 84-year-old resident of Glendale Aged Care Facility in Melbourne. As his home state embraces newfound freedoms, Graham and his fellow residents are marking their 25th day confined to their rooms after 3 consecutive COVID exposures. No visitors, no fresh air, no end in sight. Graham Smith joins us now. Graham, good morning to you. How are you holding up?
Good morning, Karl. Morning, Sylvia. Yeah, I'm holding up. It's rough. It's been a rough time after spending so much time last year and now being hit with this again with no signs of any relief coming, no roadmap out. I don't know what lies ahead of us. We've been totally vaccinated, double vaccinated for over 7 months. We're well over 90% both staff and residents, and we're still locked in our own room like caged animals. The staff are wearing full PPE. It's rough on them, very rough on them. And it's taken its toll.
Graham, we're so sorry for what you and everyone there at Glendale are going through. We can't even imagine how tough it must be. When you were last on the show, there had been 2 COVID cases at Glendale. That's now risen to 3 consecutive cases, hence the long stint in isolation. You must be concerned that this is just going to keep on happening.
That's my concern. There has been a total of 4 cases. One was a visitor. One was a contract cleaner and 2 were staff members. But I don't know what's going to happen. If we're over 90%, the Premier said, when we get to 90%, everything will be open. But it's not happening for us. We're locked down. I mean, every time we get a case, we're locked down for 14 days.
Graham, if
there is a case occurs in a restaurant or a supermarket outside, are they going to be locked down for 14 days?
Yeah. Hey,
I don't know where we stand. There is no consistency. There is no advice on where we are going and what's happening to us. Give us some damn answers.
You have every right to want those answers, Graham, and we can feel your emotion, your anger, and we feel how sad it is for you and upsetting it is for you. Look, the Minister for Aged Care Services, Richard Colbeck, is there right now. I hope he's able to hear what Graham's saying. First of all, Graham, is there anything you'd like to say to the Minister?
Senator, give us some answers. Don't leave us forgotten and kept in the dark. Give us a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Show that there's something we can hope for. We can't, even if we release today, we'll probably be still confined to the facility. We won't be allowed out in the fresh air. Give us something to hope for.
Minister?
Thanks, Graham. Look, can I say there is some work and some answers on the way for you and for everyone that's in residential aged care. That's why National Cabinet made a decision a couple of weeks ago to ask each state to review its procedures with respect to quarantining and visitation into residential aged care. When we talk about the community opening up, we mean about opening up for everybody, not just for people living in their own homes. People in residential aged care have that right as well, just as Graham has very emotionally and quite rightly indicated. So the Aged Care Advisory Group of HPPC is preparing some work for me right now that will go to HPPC and National Cabinet. The Code of Conduct for visitation in aged care is currently being reviewed by the industry and the consumer peaks We want to be able to reunite families with their loved ones in residential aged care as soon as possible. They deserve to have the benefits of opening up as much as the rest of the community do, Karl and Graham. So there is information coming, and your story, Graham, indicates to us all how important that is. It was mentioned to us by the Royal Commission, the impact on residents and the workforce, I must say, and it's good that you've mentioned, Graham, the impact on the workforce in residential aged care, because they're doing it tough as well. We need to get things back to as close as normal as possible. There still will be reactions to outbreaks within facilities. There needs to be. We have to have good infection control procedures. We don't want to go back to the situation that we had last year where three-quarters of the deaths that we had here in Australia were in aged care. The situation this year is so much better. Much smaller proportion of the cases that we've had this year are in aged care. It's gone down to about 12% from a really high number, and so the work that the sector has done, I have to say, in that sense has been really good. That's been reported back to me through the agencies that are working with aged care in the circumstance of lockdown. So the work in protecting people in aged care is so much better.
Minister, quickly, you say that Graham has every right to be emotional and to be upset about the current situation. It is not just Glendale that is experiencing this problem over and over, going into lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. With respect, Graham wants to know when these changes will come into effect. I know reviews are in place, but when will the change happen?
How about less talk and a bit of action?
I'm hoping to have advice on that in the next week or so. So I'm hoping to have that advice in the next week or so. It's really important that we get that, and we're working closely with the states with respect to their procedures around the length of a lockdown, which unfortunately has been experienced by Graham with the 4 cases that have come in contact with the facility. I mean, that's extremely difficult. I can understand very much how upset and disappointed and angry Graham would be.
Look, here's the reality, and look, you work very hard, Minister, but when the public, and when you've got Graham sitting there in one of these facilities, the Royal Commission, I think it was, March? And here we are in October, and we're still waiting for these things. I mean...
Exactly.
Anyway, look, we'll leave it there for the moment, but I know, Minister...
Well, the difference, Karl, is... The difference, Karl, is getting through the vaccination process, and I appreciate that Graham's in the circumstance of having been vaccinated for 7 months now. We'll probably be coming back to see him again in the next week or so. We're expecting advice in the next couple of days around booster shots to make sure that there is the highest possible level of protection for people like Graham in aged care facilities. I don't want to go back to last year where three-quarters of the deaths that we suffered in the country were people in residential aged care. So we need to have good infection control practices in place to protect them, but we also need to make sure that they can enjoy the freedoms that the rest of us enjoy too. Both of those things are important.
All right, good to talk to you. Get out there and get it done quickly. I mean, people like Graham are sitting there and they're going through the most horrible thing. Graham, we appreciate you. Keep your chin up, my man. We'll talk to you very soon, all right, Graham?
I'll hang in there. I just wish something would happen.
And of course you do.
Last year, we didn't have vaccination. This year, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Hang in there, Graham.
Good on you, mate.
And keep us up to date as well.
Beautiful, man.